My name is Philip Wilson. I live in Las Vegas. I grew up in Indiana. I was a mathematician as a high schooler, almost a child prodigy, a little bit of history. After getting a degree in mathematics, an honors degree, I went to Ohio State University. And I was in graduate school, and I lost interest in mathematics because about 6 months earlier, I had had an out-of-body experience that I didn't even know I had. And so I got connected to something from the water from once you drink, you never thirst again. And as a result of that, I was lit, and said, how come everyone knows what life's about but me? I wasn't streetwise at all. I was determined to find out what life was about because everyone else knew but me, and I don't know how I got passed by. So that's my journey that started. I spent 3 months in Chicago from undergraduate to graduate. And you're welcome to use a sauna. Frank, do you want to put one of these young people in?
You mean to just sit inside?
Yeah, just sit inside for 5, 6, 7 minutes. And Frank will do that for you.
So, light-based frequency.
It's healing light, loving light.
Yes.
It's the same frequency as you, which is an incredible advance in scientific research for Dr. Chang and his team of scientists in Taiwan. In 1987, they were asked by a Japanese company, can you create an energy, can you create and duplicate the energy in the hot springs in southern Ohio and southern Japan, not Ohio, southern Japan, Okinawa or whatever, where they have healing hot springs where people would go and miracles would happen and their health problems would disappear. And the Taiwan company said, sure, no problem, we'll have it in very soon. And 10 years later, they said, we got it, eureka. And it took them 10 years for Dr. Chang and his team of scientists to create the Relax Sauna semiconductor chip that generates this specific frequency of light that turns out to be the same as human energy. Same exact frequency as water, same exact frequency of human energy. I didn't bring my props with me. I didn't bring the book Detoxify or Die by Dr. Sherry Rogers. And it talks about that the far infrared saunas are superior saunas. They are, she was a medical doctor, an environmental medical doctor, and people with multi-chemical sensitivities would come to her and those with environmental problems left to dead by the medical establishment of that day, which is in the 90s. She used far infrared saunas on them, the wooden ones, the wooden boxes, not finished saunas, but far infrared saunas that had panels that would generate infrared energy. Maybe 50% of it would be far infrared energy, and people would go in. And the difference between an infrared sauna and a finished sauna is, well, let's put it this way. A prairie dog is not a dog. And someone the other day said a hot dog is not a dog either. And now we all know that a sea lion's not a lion and a seahorse isn't a horse. Did you know that in Australia, if you call a koala bear a bear, they will actually lynch you? It's like, so what I'm saying is that a far infrared sauna is what Sherry Rogers calls a superior sauna. The Mayo Clinic in 2004 reported to us heart patients should never go into a finished sauna, never go into a hot tub, because in either case, the heart is going to have to race to find an equilibrium between the inside temperature and the outside temperature. And that's the distinction. With a far infrared sauna, which they say is very therapeutic, the heart does not have to race. And it's actually extremely therapeutic for them. If anyone has a pacemaker, titanium rod, or any kind of metal screws or anything in the body, even breast implants, no problem. You go in the Relax Sauna or any infrared sauna, and it only affects the water molecules, especially the Relax Sauna, where you're getting 100%, 7 microns to 14 micron range of energy. Now, that's the magic frequency, between 7 and 14 microns. Why? You are all far infrared light beings. Daniel Brinkley, a good friend of mine, someone I admire quite a bit, has had 4 near-death experiences, says you are spiritual light beings, but not only are you that, you are far infrared light beings because you shine far infrared energy. And when you hug someone, that warmth you feel is the far infrared energy being transferred. Chickens do it too when they lay on the eggs. All birds do. Turtles, they're pretty smart. They have an arrangement with the sun. They lay the eggs 2 inches below the ground, and the sun's energy. Now, the ultraviolet from the sun gets the skin, the sand hot, gets the skin hot, where we have suntan or sunburn because we resist it, because it's so far away from our natural vibration of being far infrared light beings. So the far infrared energy goes through the sand 2 inches, and what does it do? It resonates with the water in turtle eggs, and it gets hot, and it activates a turtle embryo to grow into a turtle. The far infrared from the sun resonates with the water in the plants, giving the plant the power to move and to bend, according to Dr. Gerald Pollack in his book, The Fourth Phase of Water. And according to Gerald Pollack, the far infrared light also increases EZ zone water, the 4th phase of water, which is where nothing can be dissolved in it. It's pure, pure water, and the far infrared energy creates that. I was talking to Dr. David Jubb, who is quite famous for a couple books that he wrote in the 90s. He had many, many centers in New York City, and he is on the cutting edge of research, explaining how cells work. I forget the name of his book, but his name is Dr. David Jubb. One of the most interesting men on the planet in terms of his knowledge of physics, because he has this ability to see within the body. And he said that the far infrared light increases the surfactant. In other words, it makes water wetter, and it makes the water in your body more able to be assimilated into the cell, and the far infrared energy also resonates with the water molecules, so it increases the cell's ability to absorb nutrients. And when we went to a doctor conference, I think one of the naturopathic doctors said that if you increase your body temperature just 1 degree, especially if you have low thyroid, you can increase absorption of nutrients 20%. 20%. And that's important. And, common sense, if you heat up water, or you heat up water, more salt can be absorbed into it. So similarly, if you heat up the body, the cells, the more nutrients can be absorbed. But the most important thing, there's a book also I have at my booth called Gastra Girl. It's a funny name for a book, but the lady's a colon hydrotherapist, which deals with the gastrointestinal system in the body. And she has gone to many, many conferences, and for 10 years she would pass by our booth and say, I have a wooden sauna. That, oh my God, there's no way in the world that can do what my wooden saunas can do. And so she would snub her nose, or not snub her nose, turn her nose. And then after 10 years, in 2016, she decided, okay, I got time. I'll go into the sauna for 3 minutes for a lark. And then after 3 minutes, oh my God, she did believe. She was amazed at the difference. And she says, I'm getting this. And she's helped us sell thousands of saunas, because of her. Tim James from Portland, Oregon, started promoting the Relax Sauna. He told Dr. Brian Clement of the Hippocrates Institute, the Wheatgrass Therapy Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida, and his wife, and he told me he travels with the Relax Sauna now. And before that, he used to call up hotels and said, I can't stay at your hotel unless you have a sauna, because saunas are something that he does daily. I've been doing it daily for 21 years. That means I've been in the Relax Sauna over 8,000 times. Now, before the Relax Sauna, here's my history. I had one of those sort of like Amazon saunas, and I loved it. I got in it, you know. It took so long to get hot that I took the chair out, never used the chair, sat on the floor. Took me 18 minutes to sweat, and 55 minutes before I felt like I had a really good sweat. I loved it. Then I get a call from Taiwan, and Mandy gets on the phone and says, our sauna is more therapeutic. It's different kind of technology. Would you know, I saw your webpage. You had tons of information on this other sauna. Would you like to try ours? And they told me what price it was, and I said, okay. And so they sent it to me from Taiwan. It arrived in 2 days, and so we opened it up, and everyone at my office, everyone at my store, they said, oh my God, night and day difference. 8 minutes to sweat. You felt it immediately. 8 minutes to sweat, 20 minutes for a complete, 22 minutes for a complete total sweat that put the other 55 minutes to shame. Now, we still didn't know what we had. And at that time, believe it or not, the saunas that they could buy in bulk from China for $50 each were selling for $595 at conferences, and we were selling our Relax Sauna for $695. Those saunas that were selling for $595 back then sell they sell for $250 on Amazon now, and the Relax Sauna sells for $1,500 on the internet. So we were way underpriced, and they were way overpriced. So, how was that, by the way?
I felt good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It feels good. People. It feels good. It's better, you know.
Check your core temperature. I feel
Yeah.
Jorge, feel her,
Yeah.
her hand.
Oh, wow.
And that's just 7-8 minutes total in there. That's the difference with this, our technology.
Now, there's a man named Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, absolutely.
He expressed it differently. He says, these are great. He just got a little confused. He thought the Frosted Flakes that he was eating was great, but it was actually the Relax Sauna that he was sitting in when he was eating the Frosted Flakes that made him feel so good. But I was telling someone earlier for the first time today, I never used this word. I said, a lot of the saunas, they're nice, but the Relax Sauna is kind, because it's loving light. And there's a difference between kind and nice. Nice is like a social etiquette. Oh, that's nice. You know, be nice now. But when you say be kind, that means be loving. And when I described this to a medical doctor at a conference about a year ago, I said, this is loving light. He said, could you be a little bit more specific? And I said, okay, and sort of what I said earlier, that the energy coming out of the Relax Sauna is the same frequency as human energy and water. We give you the magical frequency range from 7 microns to 14 microns, tested at the Polytechnic University in LA and tested in a laboratory in New England as well 3-4 weeks ago. Both tests showed that over a 60-minute period, all of our energy is between 7 and 14 microns. Now, it's between 8 and 10 is the magical frequency, because water vibrates at 8 microns, and humans and birds and mammals, and probably frogs too, we all vibrate at 9.4 microns. Well, that's awfully small. Can you give me an idea of how small that is? Sure. Take a human hair. It's 50 microns in diameter. By the way, lamb wool or wool and cashmere, goat hair, they're about 15 to 20 microns. They're a lot thinner than human hair, just in case you didn't know. So the vibration of the human energy is about half the size of cashmere and about 1/5 the size of the diameter of human hair. Now, what about red? Well, red is 0.76 microns, vibrate is 0.48 microns. So the vibration of human energy is about 12 times the length of red energy, like a vibration. And the human energy is about 12 times the frequency, the wavelengths is 12 times the wavelength of red, and about 20 times the wavelength of violet. So that gives you a little bit of perspective of the currents, the microcurrent. There are technologies in the holistic health community. There's microcurrent technology, there's red light therapy, which is becoming very popular. There's near-infrared lasers. The near-infrared light bulbs are pretty much impotent compared to far-infrared energy. We did research in Taiwan in 2004 and found out that the Philips near-infrared light bulb compared to the Relax Sauna energy, 150-watt Relax Sauna frequency light, our semiconductors, to a 250-watt Philips light bulb during near-infrared. The Relax lamp at 3/5 the power significantly increased circulation and penetration in both mice, pigs, and humans. And that was published in 2004 at the Photo Biomodulation Conference in Taiwan on the Pacific Rim Conference in 2004. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions, and wrong information, but that's part of life now, certainly in this world where, you can't trust the media because, they've been shown to lie so many times. And in the holistic health community, the pharmaceutical industry has not really been telling the truth for many, many years. They have all these restrictions on, I've been into health food since 1980. I opened up a health food store in Columbus, Ohio in 1980. I was selling medicinal mushrooms in 1980, Chinese herbs in 84, green powders in 84, essential oils in 86, and oxygen products and chlorine dioxide in 1988. So I'm like a forerunner. Again, it's because anyone who has a near-death experience is given a gift, and even when I had my out-of-body experience, I became more open and receptive. Later on, I had a Kundalini awakening experience a year and a half later in August of 1971. So for some reason, this has given me the ability to be a trendsetter, to be very progressive, to be able to introduce cutting-edge products to this world. And so when I was put in the position to promote and to educate the world on the ability of the Relax Sauna, I did not, at the time, I was not aware of how profoundly different the Relax Sauna was from all the other saunas. I thought we were maybe almost as good as a wooden sauna and just a little bit better than the portable saunas, but nothing could be further than the truth. The Relax Sauna is about 10 times more powerful than any other portable sauna and at least 6 times more powerful than any other wooden infrared sauna. According to the latest research we did last month in Massachusetts by a physics laboratory at a university there, all of the Relax Sauna energy, again, was between 7 and 14 microns. We compared it to another $1,200 portable sauna, and they measured 8 to 11% of their energy was actually in that magical resonating of 7 to 14 microns. But more importantly, according to the medical doctor who submitted both saunas to this laboratory, was that we had 3 times the potency. In other words, we penetrated 3 times, I'm not quite sure, how to say this, but we penetrated very deeply into the cells and the other sauna was not able to penetrate and not able to have an impact, and therefore the therapeutic results of increasing the lymph flow, increasing the circulation, increasing the amount of oxygen. We'd been tested previously, 45% increase in muscle oxygen using the Relax Sauna, and traditionally other infrared saunas can do at most 20%. The results we get from the Relax Sauna are almost not believable, because you look at it and it looks like a cell phone. It looks like a cell phone compared to a desktop computer. Night and day difference, night and day difference. This cell phone can do way, way, way more than a desktop computer could do 20 years ago. And so, like a diamond is more valuable than a great big rock. So here you have a little tiny sauna. Now, the advantage of this Relax Sauna compared to other saunas is that you have a silver lining on the outside. We also have a black on the outside, silver on the inside. These are the three things they did not teach you. Don't know why. In 7th, 8th grade, far infrared light goes through clothes. We all know that. We go out in the sun on a hot day. We close our eyes. And what is that feeling you feel to the core of your bone that, oh my gosh, is this for real? I feel like I'm dead and went to heaven. That incredible warmth you feel to the core of your being is the far infrared light going through your winter coat if it's cold out, or going through your clothes and warming you and warming your whole body. Even when it's a cold day out, you close your eyes and imagine the sunlight, or if the sun is hot, you just sit there and you can feel, even on a cold day, the deep warmth going. Far infrared light goes through clothes, okay? Ultraviolet does not. You know how we know that? We can't get a suntan or a sunburn when we're wearing clothes. But if we take our shirt off, or at least you're wearing short sleeves, you can get a nice suntan. And if you get overexposure of ultraviolet, you get a sunburn. Do you know what the antidote of getting a sunburn is? Far infrared energy. I have put 4 people with sunburns of 7, pain, like the day after they got sunburnt. And the last thing they would think to do is go into there. But, I can entice people. I got them to go in there, different conferences over the years. Every single one of them, all the pain was gone, totally, in 5 to 7 minutes. Hello, Jorge. How was your experience?
Oh, very pleasant, very, very warm.
Yeah. You feel better? No.
Yeah.
You do.
Well, I was feeling good before.
Yeah.
Maybe better.
Well, when I first started selling herbal products and opened up my health food store, I catered to those who were healthy to feel super healthy. And then later on, I got into helping people who weren't feeling healthy by getting involved in herbal remedies. Now, have you all seen the movie Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone earlier about this movie, and she said, oh, the theme is, if you build it, they will come. I said, yes, that's true, but there was a greater theme, a much greater theme. What happened in the early part of the movie, where he had this dream, and he went to Fenway Park, and it was flashing, and it said, ease his pain. Ease his pain. The whole movie, if you think about it, from beginning to end, was the whole process of easing his pain. Now, who's the his? All 5 major men characters. He himself, the role that Kevin Costner played, Thomas Mann, Archie, the baseball player, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and Kevin, his father, in the movie. All 5 men, their dreams were fulfilled, and hence their pain was ended or eased. And that's what life is about, easing a person's pain. Did you know that coming into a body is almost the definition of pain? Because my definition of pain is the awareness of time. Whenever we're aware of time, like hurrying and worrying, gee, they rhyme, waiting, anxiety, all this are painful time-related experiences. There's a book called Talons of Time written by Paul Twitchell in the 60s. Just the name, Talons of Time, shows time is not our friend. So who is the evil ones in the book? The time makers. So that creates pain. So when you go into the Relax Sauna and it activates the parasympathetic and you get into the now where you're in the presence of that which is, there's no time. So therefore, there's no pain.
Hey, did you want to relax?
Yeah, Ray, you want to go in?
No, I don't, but I don't see the heaters in there.
Well,
Where are
they're right here in front. See right there?
Oh, they're pointed up?
And they're pointed toward the back.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
It's actually reflecting, the light is being reflected with the silver lining.
And
Alright.
that's the second principle they didn't teach you in 7th grade. That far infrared light, even though it's invisible, can you believe it's still reflected by a mirror? Huh? Again, the beginning of science, the whole idea of science is observation, collecting data. You go into that sauna, and all of a sudden your back quits hurting. Your back pain in the lower back, middle back, it quits hurting. Because we know it goes through clothes, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to go through that blue cloth and hit the silver and then bounce back. And so every nook and cranny is a source of the healing, loving light. So when you go in there and you go in there and all of a sudden your back feels better, well, maybe it does bounce off the walls. See, again, experience trumps mental explanation. It's the experience of living life. So when Jimi Hendrix said, "Are you experienced?" I think in a dream he went into the Relax Sauna and experienced the touch of divine love. As a matter of fact, you know that song by James Brown, "I Feel Good"?
Yeah.
What inspired him to create that song? He went in the Relax Sauna. And as soon as he got in the Relax Sauna, he came out, he jumped out and spontaneously sang the song. Now, you may ask, well, how come James Brown wrote the song before the Relax Sauna was invented? Well, I have an answer for that. He experienced it in a dream state. Yes, totally true, as he lies. Incidentally, I don't believe anything, so please don't believe me. Do you know why I don't believe anything? Because how do you spell belief? B-E-L-I-E-F. The core of every belief, and the signature of the English language is the core of every belief is a lie. And that's because beliefs are temporary. Well, do you know that happened? I believe it happened. Then you don't know it. No, I know it happened. Well, then you don't believe it. You can't believe and know. It's either you believe it or you know it. And I don't want to believe anything. However, I'm willing to temporarily believe anything, and I'm willing to believe anything, contrary to even the things that we've been told as a kid. The greatest lie is that I'm my body. And my dad told me, the only thing you have to do in this world is die and pay taxes, and he was wrong on both. Because legally we don't have to pay taxes, although bullies may make us, but we really don't have to. But that's another story. The main thing, yes.
Lisa had a question. I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
Yes.
Lisa had a very poignant question about cleaning and the sanitation of Relax Sauna.
Yes. Well, we don't tell everyone. Like one sauna says, oh, we have negative ions and all that. Well, so do we, but we don't tell anyone because we want to focus on the beauty of the exact frequency of wavelength of the far infrared energy. So you turn it on for 5 minutes and it self-cleans.
Yeah, you'll zip it up.
Yeah.
Turn it on for 5 minutes, runs a sanitation cycle.
So when you go in the Relax Sauna, you put a folded bath towel on the chair if you
Yes.
get a sweat.
Not to catch any.
Yeah, you drape another towel. If you sweat by the feet, you can put a hand towel on the floor, and all your sweat will go on those towels. And then you come out, and if you want, you can take the wet towels out, put on the timer for 5-10 minutes or more if you want, and it self-cleans and it's ready for the next person. You know, and it's self-cleaning just like one of those self-cleaning ovens. Now the third principle that they don't tell you is I tell you that the radiator hits the back wall, goes through the blue cloth, hits the silver and bounces. You're going to say, well, that's going to take a hell of a long time to actually be all over. Well, again, it's a light. What's the speed of light? About 186,000 miles a second. So that means within a second, this is going to be a bright, bright light. Invisible, but still bright. Now the snakes, they can see infrared, far infrared light, right? We were taught that. That's one thing they did teach us. So when we put 2 snakes in there, I mean, you know, everyone puts 2 snakes in the sauna, but they were around the lady who was the animal communicator. And we did a 26-minute interview with the 2 snakes and the lady. And the snake said, this is good. This is way better than the light in our cage. So this is the only sauna that we have a testimony from snakes. Endorsed by snakes. The only sauna in the world. At least the only one I've heard of. So, you know, I can't make that statement, you know, and be totally true. But so that's another feature of so that's why it works. It's a bright light, and again, 5 to 10 times brighter than any other sauna. So now you're going to say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but how do I know it? See, we don't want you to believe. We want you to become the knower instead of the believer. Well, there's nothing like an experience, you know, like James Brown and Jimi Hendrix. So you go into the sauna, you experience it, you check out other saunas, and you notice that this one feels warmer and more loving. Like I was explaining to this doctor, I said, it's loving light. Can you do better? And I explained all the technology and whatever. And he says, okay. And he came back the next day. I want to try it again. And you know what he said to me? Your description of loving light is the best description of it all, because you feel warmly loved. You feel like a cross between being hugged by your loving grandma, basking in divine love, being on a beach in Hawaii or another tropical paradise, or being in the presence of a Qigong master, great guru, or being giving you unconditional love. So what is the commonality of those 4 examples? Unconditional love. You feel accepted, you feel in the moment, you feel embraced, you feel like you're in a cocoon, and this is the soft, loving light compared to the harsh near-infrared. Now, why is near-infrared harsh? Why is mid-infrared harsh? Why is far-infrared that doesn't resonate with you harsh? Because they're not absorbed, they're not the same energy as you, so you instinctively resist them, and the resistance causes friction or tension or a little bit of a harshness. They're not soft. And again, these are just like water that's softer compared to, we want to soften the water. We want to restructure the water. The far infrared light structures the water. It makes it more, it increases the surfactant of the water, according to Dr. David Jubb. And many other people will put their 2 cents in and say, far infrared energy is incredible, and you want to do far infrared energy between 7 and 14 microns. There's 8 to 10 is the magic, and 7 to 14 is good, and 4 to 14 is what you want, and we do better than that. And that's the energy that resonates with you. Now, what happens when you do this? You increase body temperature because it resonates with the water molecules. What does Hippocrates, the great physician, the father of modern medicine, say? He says, find me a way to create fever and sweat, and I'll cure you of anything. All I need to do to cure you is to give you a temperature. That's the secret. Now, what is if when you do the derivative of the doctors in Greece, the name physician, the name whatever it is called, the derivative of that is warmer. The doctors were called warmers. The physicians were called warmers because their purpose was to find a way to increase your body temperature, because that's how you heal, and that's how you get the toxins out. That's how you get the whole metabolic functioning of the body. That's how you oxygenate the body. That's how you get the parasympathetic nervous system to be activated, which gets you into the now. And that, when you get into the now, there's no more caffeine nervous energy. And here you are, the mitochondria start creating ATP and nitric oxide, and you feel rejuvenated. As Angela said in a video testimony that's on YouTube, all saunas are different. Every sauna, they're not alike. They're not alike. I gave my $1,200 portable sauna away. I gave my higher dose blanket away after I got the Relax Sauna, because in the Relax, like Kleenex, in the Relax, I feel rejuvenated, and the other saunas not. So how many more minutes do I have? 10 more minutes, great. So, I far infrared energy, far infrared energies were not necessary in this world, because if you needed to detoxify in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, the Finnish saunas did the trick. Dr. Bill Ackpernau wrote a book called No Sweat, No Sweat. N-O, sweat, K-N-O-W, sweat. When you know sweat as your teacher and your healer, life is no sweat. And it's a history of saunas in this world. The Grecian baths, the Roman baths, the Turkish baths, the Russian baths, the sweat lodges of the North American Indians, the sweat lodges of the Amazon Indians, the Finnish saunas. Every culture has had a way to sort of like get you to increase your body temperature, to get you into that state of health. In the 60s, what happened? Well, I grew up in the 50s. What was the rally cry in the 50s? All over the world.
Scare?
Huh? No, better living through chemistry.
Oh.
Better living through chemistry. Oh my God. One of the worst things that happened, but it's the process. There's no bad or good, it's just a process. You fall in love with the process. Better living with chemistry is like a curse. Like Roundup, the pharmaceutical cartels and their products. So according to Rebecca Harder in her book Gastra Girl, Healing the World One Colon at a Time. Come on in. She said, if you want to feel fabulous in the 21st century, a far infrared sauna is a necessity. Because with the increase of toxins in the world in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and oh my God, with Roundup and Monsanto and all their wonderful products that they've unleashed upon the world as bioweapons, with chemtrails, with the vaccines, with the lies of the pharmaceutical company. Oh my God, if you want to feel fabulous, a regular sauna won't do the trick. A far infrared sauna is one of the most amazing products in the world that can cleanse you and detoxify you. Now, there are many energy medicine technologies in the world. You have microcurrent technology, you have PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequency, you have red light therapy, you have near-infrared lasers. Supposedly you have near-infrared light bulbs, but that's what Kellogg had in the sanitariums, and they were moderately effective or minimally effective, but they fell out of disfavor because people would burn themselves on them. So, and then you have other, you have hyperbaric oxygen chambers, you have ozone therapy. All those are new technologies in the modern world for the holistic community. But the far infrared saunas are the only of these devices that raise body temperature. that give you the fever that Hippocrates talked about as a secret. Find me a way to create fever and sweat, and I will cure any disease. So we were at a conference, and this lady with microcurrent technology, she went over our booth and said, wow. She talked to her partner went over, and afterwards she gave us about 45 minutes worth of testimonials saying, hey, after 8 minutes, all my systems were starting to rebuild themselves because I had cancer about 4 or 5 years ago, and my body's a mess, and she said, we need to do this because this will augment the microcurrent technologies that we sell. And so they got for their clinic 2 Relax Saunas from us. So I've been to many shows, about 400, 500 shows. I've put maybe 150,000 people in the Relax Sauna. And I guarantee 5 to 7 minutes in the Relax Sauna, 100% to 50% of your pain gone every time, guaranteed, without sweating, 5 to 7 minutes with your clothes on. And you'll feel like your grandma's giving you a loving hug. No other sauna can do that because most saunas take 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. I was at a medical conference in Minneapolis about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. 4 doctors with $5,000 saunas in their home. They never used them. Why? Because it took 20, 30, 45 minutes to preheat. And then you didn't have compliance. And so they all bought saunas from me at that show. And here's my joke. Hey, you really love the Relax Sauna? Oh, I love it. It's incredible. Well, you want to buy it? I said, well, I already have a sauna, so I'm not gonna. Well, do you use the sauna? No, I told you it takes 20, 30, 45 minutes. So, and then it goes on and on and on. But the Relax Sauna is definitely, you go to our booth in the other room. We're on a corner, and it blows you away how good it feels.
40,
Yeah.
41.
40 and 42.
40,
Yeah.
41.
And the website is relaxsaunas.com. That's plural, relaxsaunas.com. And my phone number is 626-200-8454. My email is phil@relaxsaunas.com. The Relax Sauna, guaranteed, will transform your house into a home, because where there's a home, there's a hearth. And in 3 days to 3 weeks, it'll transform your body into you'll feel much better. One last thing I want to say is that, you know how washing machines work? Where the water, the invisible water, goes through the solid clothes and cleanses every fiber of the clothes? Well, the Relax Sauna uses healing, loving light to cleanse every cell of your body in the same way. Thank you so much. You were a great audience, and come by the booth, and I'm going to finish off now. Again, my name is Phil Wilson. I live in Vegas, and feel free to call me, feel free to email me. Go to the website, relaxsaunas.com. Educate yourself, and if you decide to get a Relax Sauna, again, you'll be grateful. Okay? Thanks so much.
We have a show special, too. So